This is the coolest thing we've ever seen.
I almost don't want to show this. I've never seen anything like that. Look at this place.
This is the best spot. We have camped.
Oh my God, Gaz!
This is not the ferry to Moreton. It's not the ferry to Fraser. We're not going to Tassie. That over there is one of the most remote offshore islands you can take a four-wheel drive in Australia. But we didn't start right here. That's freaking ridiculous. I've never seen anything like this. I am about to realise a boyhood dream. Would you be prepared to go offshore? We need to take the vehicles with us. Wow. What the heck? I almost don't want to show this. We need to cut this out. Folks, this is off-grid. I'm going to get back to steering this bad boy. Our adventure starts here at Port Broughton, situated at the entrance to what is known as the Yorke Peninsula, in a little explored part of South Australia. This is where we're kicking off an epic adventure that Steph has actually given me the idea for. You see, South Australia is her home. The Yorke is an area that she's spent some time in. However, I bet that a lot of you haven't even heard of it. You folks at home playing along with us, where exactly is this? Where are we? Where's the Yorke Peninsula? You've probably never heard of it. Have a look at a map. You've got Adelaide just up here. Go to the west of Adelaide ever so slightly, and there's a large dangling landmass that looks like a big cowboy boot. That is the Yorke Peninsula. And right now, we are in the top northwest corner of it. We're going to do a great big 700-kilometre lap all the way around. So when we're finished with the Yorke Peninsula, there is another landmass that I have dreamt about visiting, literally, since I was a teenager. And there is a very, very good reason why I'm so excited about trying to get to this landmass. More on that later. That's right, we're ending this trip off the mainland of Australia, on arguably one of the more remote islands you can take a four-wheel drive. You know, I was about to jump on the radio and say to you, look at that view. How surprising is that? What an amazing part of the country. But you know what? I'm not surprised. I am not surprised one bit.
You've got a soft spot for South Australia, don't you?
I reckon the vast majority of Australia would have no clue what the Yorke Peninsula is. Absolutely stunning, and you need a rugged four-wheel drive to get in here too. Well, 700 kilometres, according to my GPS. We've done one. Let's keep going. South Australia, baby. I'm back. I am back. Now, if you haven't already noticed, we're back in the Maverick vans for this trip, and I'm super excited because Maverick have made some upgrades to the Viper that I'm running, which should make it the ultimate touring van. Steph and Harley, of course, are living in a bit more luxury on this trip and have the Eminence in tow. Look at him living, he's living the dream. He's living the bloody dream, that bloke. Even he's done, he's got a view. Country is amazing, isn't it? We are all very bloody lucky to live here. Now, Steph's assured me that the Yorke has some of the best camping I'll ever do. I've camped in a lot of places, so if she's right, we're in for a treat. But the track runs along the coast, and in no time, we go from comfortable dirt to some pretty soft sand.
This kind of feels wrong doing this with this caravan. Oh! Sorry.
My wheels are intact, are yours?
I did say it felt wrong.
It felt very wrong there at one stage when the caravan was airborne.
Well, I thought we were about to get bogged, so I thought I had to give it a bit more.
Yeah, these are some pretty serious whoop-de-doos. I mean, they wanted to test the vans out. This will test them.
Look, I've got a sneaking suspicion we might be the first people to bring an 18-foot van through here in a little while. It's not exactly the most comfortable ride.
No, it's not. But they're doing it. She towing through okay?
Oh, yeah. Besides that little bump there, it's coming through all right. I'm pretty happy we put that new Hayman reef bar on the back because it's lifted up nicely. I think we'd be just dragging it through otherwise. It's actually just giving us that little bit of clearance. It's making life a lot easier.
You're really flexing her up. That's, yep. She's not caravan friendly.
Yeah, it must look quite nice from the back there.
the road quickly disappears, and up ahead, the camera car has hit some pretty bad terrain. Rule number 1, never blindly follow your cameraman anywhere. He's just gone on ahead of us in a D-Max, not towing, and nearly got bogged on the salt flats in this disgusting seaweedy type stuff. So now, we've got to turn collectively 10 tonne of four-wheel driving caravan around somehow to get out of here without sinking and making this base camp for the next 10 years. Now, I don't know what we're going to do. I think I'm just going to try and reverse straight out through that seaweed and get back on another track up there. Hopefully, just go straight backwards. What's rule number 1 again? That's right. Never blindly follow your cameraman. Isn't that right, Mr. Cameraman? There you go. All right.
Righto, mate. All them bloody berries under there, I think you're gonna have to use every single one of them.
I kind of want to go like grasshopper and step lightly over the earth.
Go at it then.
Yeah, that's good. I want to see dust. Dust is good.
Yeah, that's nice and easy. Yeah.
That's a bit anticlimactic, isn't it?
Yep. If you can just flatten all that out for us and compact it as best you can.
He's done it. Walked it in.
There's actually one thing I do pride myself on off-grid. That's my ability to reverse. Towing a tool trailer for years has sort of led me to this, but now that the old man, who's not as confident, has managed to sneak his way out, I'm a little bit concerned about this. If I get bogged, he's going to let me know about it.
He's done it.
Point backwards if you need to. Like I say, it's a little anticlimactic to watch, but the opposite to that, I reckon, would be a fairly substantial bogging.
Well, a little bit of a wrong turn, but nothing like a bit of adventure, and we're not too far away from camp.
With disaster avoided and the camera car now placed at the back, we push on south. I've been promised some of the most beautiful beaches in the country, and whilst I know for a fact that they are all on the west coast, well, I'm ready to be proven wrong. Up ahead, we reach our first little beach run, and boy, is it a beauty.
Take a look at this, Graham. Bloody spectacular.
Oh, what the heck? Look at this place. That's freaking ridiculous. I've never seen anything like this. Yeah, I'm a bit mesmerised by it. This is bloody sensational. It's not often you get to take the vans right onto the beach, but York's is the place for it. We're about due for a swim. Now, I keep hearing, everywhere we go, tales of squid so big in this bay. Small children are not allowed to swim unless they are supervised by an adult, unless they get taken by the kraken. I'm a little bit concerned of Steph. If she goes in the water, squid will get her. So I'm going to tackle one of these big squid. I'll walk out here and throw a squid jig and see what we can get, because fresh squid, as you all know, absolutely superb. But given my track record of late when it comes to catching anything that swims in the ocean, I'm glad I got a pork chop in the fridge.
All right, let's go catch dinner.
Yeah, boy.
I've always been an absolute sucker for these low tide reefy environments, because ordinarily this is obviously underwater, makes sense. Then you get these rock pools like this, and it allows you to have a bit of a look at an underwater environment you're not normally able to see.
We are literally 3.5 seconds into this little fishing mission. I haven't even cast my line yet, and Harley's already lost a lure.
What am I doing wrong? Why?
We got a fighter.
Never figure out why we can never catch anything. My lure's attached to a rock. This peanut's doing bloody circle work with hers.
As always on Off Grid, we endeavour to get to places that are, well, a little bit lesser known and underrated. And this is definitely one of them. Just take a look at that water. Now, if only we could catch something, it'd be a perfect day.
How many squids did you catch? 0.
Zero squid.
Alrighty, squid win the round this time. But you know when you're in a foreign city and you're told the best place to eat is where the locals eat, so you go to the restaurant that might look the grimmest, but where all the locals are, that's where you go to eat. I was down there on the rocks trying to catch a squid with the old squid jig, and a local came down, filled up his bucket. He had about 10 casts, dotted them around, emptied his bucket and walked off. So that means two things. One, there are squid here. Locals are fishing for them. But two, they're not right there today. And that just gives me a little bit more hope. Fire in the belly. When it all comes together, it's going to be the one to does it. Not today, though. Right now, yeah, you know what time it is. Shallow dive. Be careful.
I'm out here searching for my lures. You know you're a real fisherman when you're doing this, or as far from it as you can possibly get.
Hey, how you doing? Well, when you look up paradise in the old dictionary, there's a picture just like this. Doesn't include me, that's optional, but this outlook right here, under paradise in the old dictionary, look, we did put the vans, not to the van's limit, but the track getting in was that boggy sand where, as you all know at home, if you do go down to that stuff, it's a nightmare to get a caravan out of it. So we're on the edge for that one, but when you get to a spot like this, have a go. York Peninsula. You know that bucket? It's got all the destinations in it. Add another one. Go on, put another one in there. York Peninsula. Day one. UHEC camp tonight, apparently. Neck level.
Bloody good is that? That place is unbelievable.
We're just at the tip of the iceberg, mate. Like we said earlier, we have got like 697 kilometres to go. Let's duck in and out, check all these beaches out. More glorious swims to be had. And I'm sure at some point we have to catch something.
With a fair bit of sun and salt water, I reckon it's time to head towards our first camp of the trip. Because I've got a sneaking suspicion it's going to be pretty spectacular. These are campsites, right?
Legit.
Legitimate campsites, and we have not seen a soul yet. Like, absolutely. Do people not get down this far, or what's happening?
Well, that's the rub. There's about 10 campsites on the cliff, flat, with views forever.
Yeah.
And there's no one here. No, there's got to be something going on. There's a catch. There's got to be a catch. They're $1,000 a night.
Mate, no catch. This is just the glory that is South Australia.
I reckon it's like finding the woman of your dreams or the man of your dreams, but finding out he's got 12 fingers. Something's not right.
I don't know, but I'm just going to poke our nose down this way into this little point, and I'm hoping we can get right out on the edge and just have the best campsite that we've had in months.
Look at that view.
Maybe ever? Could I be so bold?
I think you could.
I think you can throw that one out there. I think we're on with a chance.
So blue.
That is blue as can be.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, my Lord. Just wait until you pop your head up there. Oh, my Lord.
Oh, that is so sick. This is the coolest thing we've ever seen.
This is the best spot we have camped.
Oh my God. Gaz, look out your right-hand window. This is the sickest thing we've ever seen.
That is freaking glorious. I've never seen anything like that.
Oh,
you know what actually reminds me a lot of home? Wow, wow, wow.
We have just pulled up at what has got to be the best spot that I think we've ever camped at on the entire off-grid. It's unbelievable. Now, sun's still a bit high. We could set straight up, but I don't think I can wait. I'm getting the fishing rods out. We are getting down, and I am hoping there has got to be something in that water.
While Harley does that, Steph and I can't resist a little arvo dip. And with a beach like this to ourselves, how can you blame us? Tell you what, folks, in my line of work, it's not often you get to somewhere that actually looks better or as it is on camera as it is in real life. This place is freaking unbelievable. Campsite on top of the hill up here. Beach down here is just divine. I'm cooking something a little bit special tonight, and also, not so much for me, but for everyone else and the crew, the sun is going to set over the water tonight, which for most of you guys on the East Coast is a bit of a rarity. It's one of those moments where you're just going to let the blubber do the work and just bob around in the ocean.
That was a one-piece rod 5 minutes ago. I don't know how I'm so bad at one singular sport. This is coming from a man who is terrible at golf, football, cricket, lawn bowls, 10-pin bowling. It's just everything, really. But somehow, fishing just takes the cake. I'm just even worse at it. Or if everybody can just keep my secret and tell the old man that I snapped a rod trying to reel in 200-pound tuna, that'd be much appreciated. Not only that, I've managed to get myself bloody stuck on a rock. How do I get back? Help!
Well, it might be all doom and gloom with the lack of fish caught, but it all gets forgotten once we get back to the vans and get them set up. 2 new features that have been added to the Maverick Viper that I'm running that have absolutely changed the game for me is this: struts on the rear fold-out wall and an electric awning. Now, it might not seem like much, but it's those little 1%ers that make van life so good.
So a little bit earlier, while Steph and the old man went for a swim, I decided to go out for a bit of a fish. First cast, if you will believe it, had to have been at least a metre flatty. I swear to God, happened. But I actually snapped my rod. So we're gonna have a go at repairing it. I'm gonna see if we can do a bit of bush mechanics on this. I've cut down our 2 bits of rod, got myself a skewer here. I had to whittle down one end, and I'm gonna get a little bit of epoxy, glue this up, the whole situation. One slides in, and all of a sudden, it's starting to look like we've got a rod. We'll have to do a bit of tying here, a bit of epoxy, bit of thread. There's a chance that this rod may catch another fish.
Harley, I don't know if it's the rod that was the problem, but anyway, whilst you do that, I'm going to get dinner going nice and early. We have had some camps on off-grid, and I think you'll agree, that have been spectacular. I'm about to boil some meat, not something you'll hear every day. I'm making a pork roast tonight by boiling the meat. Don't worry, it'll come together. 20 minutes boiling, and we've got exactly 10 minutes until the sun sets. If you're doing the math like I'm doing the math, the 20 minutes that this takes is the 10 minutes for the sun to go down, and that means I can have another vino. I'm going to do the old corny cheers, folks.
Oh, cheers,
Can you do a
mate.
remote cheers for me?
Cheers, mate.
This is, okay, you've got, I'll give you an hour. Better campsite than this, go.
None.
Zero.
This is actually top of the list for me.
I think so.
It's amazing.
And that's genuine. That's not.
Yeah.
We're not just saying that. Like
No.
we've been to some spectacular spots, and this is next level.
Unbelievable campsite. I'm going to put, I know you're all going to get in the comments, he always says that.
Yeah,
But
you do. But
have a look at that. Look where we are. We were swimming down there today. Unbelievable. What's that out there? There's something swimming right in the beam of the sun. I think that's a dolphin. Folks, I've said it before, I'll say it again. This is what it's all about. If you're thinking about it, just bloody do it. Get out there and enjoy your life. You've only got one. Well, that was a heck of a sunset. Heck of a view. Holy! This ain't going to win any awards. I'm going to get this bad boy out. What I'm doing tonight is kind of a pork roast, but we ain't going to roast it. Stinking hot out here. Traditionally, I'd put it in a camp oven. This is an alternative method to get that really, really crispy skin and that just delightful pork underneath it without using any fire and a really, really slow heat. So it's completely opposite to what you'd normally do. Pork is almost basically cooked. It just needs to be crisped up. What I'm going to do here is just stab me all over with the fork. Fry pan on the heat. Got the old Maverick kitchen right here. My Lord, don't that make it so much easier? We'll get some heat in there. Now, I'm just going to transfer this across to a nice hot fry pan. I'm going to take that heat and put it down nice and low. So unlike a traditional pork roast, I want to do this really nice and slowly. I'm going to turn this around and show you what I'm talking about here. Get your laughing gear around that crackle. Look at that. That right there is crispy pork belly. Whilst I've been cooking, Harley's hard at work repairing the rod he apparently snapped on a big fish. And he seems to be making pretty good progress. How you doing over there?
Mate,
Don't go tall. It's got a bit of a...
it's going to work. I've still
still got it tight. We're good.
We've lost our cameraman. He's off doing something, we're not too sure what. But the show must go on. So I'll show you what's going on. Let me pick up my phone. I will go to video mode.
I got you, boo.
So I've got a bug up my top. Hang on, we'll get rid of that.
It's all happening.
There we go. So you're videoing me videoing you.
She's a man. She's a woman of it.
And
Oh, this is off-grid inception.
We have a three-way.
Oh, that's gross.
Righto. What we're doing here is making a bit of a stir fry. So we're going to put a little bit of sesame oil. It's actually pronounced sesame. Bit of soy over the top. So what we're talking about here is that unctuous, white, juicy pork with the crispy top.
You've done very well here, sir.
I think it's a good meal.
Yep.
And we'll try it again.
Well, look, we're going to be eating this for 3 days, so.
There's a lot there. Until our cameraman gets in, you're a big boy. A perfect meal to wrap up a perfect day. You know a spot's good when it's just as spectacular in the morning as it was in the evening. And this is one of those spots. I'll tell you what a difference 12 hours makes. Yesterday afternoon, it was in the mid to high 30s. We were swimming down on that beach down there. This morning, it's not what I'd call cold, but that wind is very chilly. Got the old beanie on, cup of coffee in us. I reckon this cloud's going to burn off, and oh my goodness. It is just as good as it was when we pulled in yesterday. What a spot, what a view. For us though, big plans. We're heading further south. Yep, you can keep going further south than this. Apparently, it gets wilder, more woolly, and not many people push that far down there, so we're going to get even more remote. Well, starting to think fish aren't real. Bit blustery down there. Maybe I'm making excuses now. You know what's nice though? Come back up here, you're out of the wind, you can get in there if you need to. The old Viper is a little bit of shelter from the storm. And also, Maverick have taken on board a few tips and techniques that we've sort of picked up while we've been out on the trip, bit of R&D, and they've really implemented it in the new range of Vipers. One thing I'm loving, as I'm guessing you guys are, new colour scheme. I reckon it looks absolutely sick. But some of the changes they've made, new dust seals, dust, you don't want that getting in. They've got gas struts at the back, makes it so much easier. Upgraded 12 volt, you can stay out here even on a day like today for as long as you want. Heaps of storage inside. I'm talking storage I can't even fill. It's the 1%ers, the stuff you don't even think about that Maverick have done. For example, there's now a shower curtain that divides the bathroom, so you've got a shower on one side, toilet on the other. If you've owned a caravan where you've got a combined toilet shower, you'll know what I'm talking about. You have a shower at night, toilet seat gets wet. Think about that first thing in the morning. Ain't real pleasant. So it's those little 1%ers Maverick have done based on our feedback. Life was comfortable before, downright luxurious. Now, speaking of luxurious, you can't smell it, but I can. Over there, bacon and eggs. After a couple more failed attempts of catching anything that swims and a much more successful breakfast, we get the vans packed up and hit the road south. Getting myself sorted out here. We get a few questions regarding safety and first aid on these trips and what we carry. Run you through what we've got real quick here. This is a big family first aid kit from Survival First Aid. This one actually lives inside this dustproof bag on the back of the vehicle, so the crew, anyone can access that. Snakebite kit, don't leave home without it. Keep this in the car at all times, just in case. Black one right here comes with me everywhere. This is my personal first aid kit, lives in my bag, again from Survival First Aid. Always have a first aid kit with you. You just never know when things are going to go pear-shaped. I'm going to chuck this back in, get loaded up. We're getting out of here. Just about to fire up the 62 and get out of here, and I've got a bit of a routine. The very last thing I do, walk around the vans, make sure everything's closed, everything's shut down as it should be. Then I pop into the van, and you'll notice that I've got a selection of switches in here. Just about every van will have these switches in them. And they're all to do with varying electrical components within your van. And it's vitally important that you turn certain ones of them off. The most important one, this one right here. This is for your water pump. Turn that off. Why? If you accidentally or inadvertently turn a tap on, if you've got your pump on, there's nothing stopping that water from continually pouring out while you're driving. You get to camp, you got no water in your tanks, that's you done. Brand new pacemaker exhaust, real throaty note on that. I think we're going to be good friends. As hard as it is to say goodbye to such a beautiful spot, I'm sure the rest will be just as specky. How you going up there, kids?
Mate, just rattling along nicely. That spot was absolutely spectacular, mate. The Yorks is putting on a clinic. Mate, we're a couple of days in and I need to know, why the bloody hell am I dragging this big swag around this whole peninsula?
Yeah, it's probably time I let the cat out of the bag. Remember when I took you guys on a bit of a tour of my backyard, and it just so happened that we did it right during the middle of a certain season?
Mate, I very much recall that. That was absolute highlight of our trip so far.
The Marron.
What are you coming up with?
The elusive southwest Western Australian Marron, only found in the streams, waters, dams and rivers of southern WA, with one very, very hefty exception. They are a feral, introduced pest on Kangaroo Island. And guess where we are going next?
Are you kidding? Are we actually going to Kangaroo Island?
I have booked us ferries across to KI.
Come on!
We are going to Kangaroo Island for a couple of nights. I've also got a location where we are going to go marroning on the only place outside of southern WA that you can catch the delicious marron.
That is so sick. I've always wanted to go to Kangaroo Island. Yes,
on.
Uncle Gary.
What a man.
The only catch, and there is a very, very small catch, we're not taking the vans because it was going to be a little bit too costly for a couple of nights. So you're just going to have to rough it in your swag, and that's why I asked you to bring a swag along on this trip.
I don't know if we know how to rough it anymore after living in these glorious caravans, but look, I'm sure we will manage for a couple of nights if it means swagging in Kangaroo Island. That is sick. I'm so excited.
With the cat now out of the bag, everyone is frothing to see if we can actually catch marron outside of Western Australia. But for now, we are still very far south on this little peninsula with so much more to explore. Underbody protection. We always associate it with tough tracks. For good reason too. Damage can be done, and often is done, to the underbody of your four-wheel drive on tough tracks. But I've had custom off-road underbody protection on all of my four-wheel drives, from the Isuzus, the D-Maxes, my GU, I've got it on Shorty, I've got it on the Y62, and the reason I've got it on my touring vehicles is that, as a rule, touring tracks are done in the middle of absolutely nowhere. Tough tracks, on the other hand, are often done, you'll agree, pretty close to major centres. If something goes wrong on a touring track in the middle of nowhere, you're up Poop Creek without a paddle. Just imagine, for example, on the Y62, I've got an oil filter that hangs down quite low. It is very exposed. Imagine going through a washout in the middle of nowhere and knocking that off. You're in all sorts of trouble. I reckon underbody protection, even on touring vehicles, it is cheap insurance against things going wrong. The next stop on the Yorks is one you just can't go past if you're down here. And it's the Inniston Historic Township. You see, Inniston was once a thriving gypsum mining town, home to over 200 people. It's now been abandoned, but the ruins lie in really good condition for you to come and visit this little slice of history. The village that we're in right now was self-sustainable. They had everything they needed out here. That there behind me is what remains of the Belco Chalk Factory. Now, if you went to school like me in around about the 1980s, 1990s, I guarantee you that if you were cheeky like me in class, you would have had a piece of Belco chalk thrown at your head for talking in class. That right there is the old chalk factory where they used to make chalk that got thrown at my head in the 1980s. And if you come over here, Mr. Cameraman, you'll see, look at that. You can still see bits of chalk in the ground. Look, there's a yellow one. I don't know whether that's meant to be there or if we can just chalk it up to good luck. It's always worth checking out a bit of local history to really get a context of the areas you visit and why they have developed the way they have. But for us, we've got a mission. Tomorrow, our ferry leaves to Kangaroo Island for about 100 kilometres south of Cape Jarvis. So we need to start making our way back up north, but not before just one more little stop.
Uncle Gaz, it's a little bit early in the day just to pull into camp yet, so I thought we might just stop in at one more little beach.
Settle down with your little beaches. What's this one like?
Mate, this one is actually meant to be spectacular. It's one of the highlights down here on York, so we're just poking our head over and oh my lord. Mate, strap yourself in. This is unbelievable. Holy hell, this is cool.
This is sick.
Oh, what? That is I'm going to swear if I'm not careful. That's unbelievable.
Dude, this is elite. We can get right out on here. I love this. This might be as busy as we find it here on Yorks, on probably one of the most popular beaches. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it blows my mind. People go up north. They're constantly going north to get water that looks like that. I almost don't want to show this. We need to cut this out. I reckon you'd want to get the tide right though.
Yeah, could be a little bit dangerous, but I think we've managed to
nailed the timing.
Now, it might be a little bit early for a beer, but I think we just pull the chairs out, we crack a little soda water, and just have a bit of a swim and kick back for a little bit.
Settle down. Settle down.
I told you, it just keeps getting better and better.
Nailed it. Nailed this one to perfection. Boom.
This water is ridiculously blue. Like fake blue. It does not look real.
Folks, look, I'm not going to tell you where this is, but I'm sure with a bit of research, you can figure it out.
How sick would it be to come here, set up for the day, awning out, little beach barbie, couple of beers. The dream.
This tidal beach really is unique, and to be able to bring the vans on here, well, it's a testament to both the vans and this beautiful country. But you do need to be careful on beaches like this because the tide can come up quickly and things can turn south very fast. Kids have just snuck outside for a quick dip. What they can't see, however, have a look how quick this tide is coming in. Look at that. I reckon we've got to get in those vehicles and get out of here before this is where we live. Now, look, if you remember earlier, I gave you folks at home a little tip about turning off your switches and especially the pump, because if the tap gets turned on, well, you're going to lose all your water. Well, Steph and Harley have had to learn the hard way. You recall my little tip when it came to turning off all the electrical switches in your van, the number one most important switch being
The master switch to turn off your pump.
the most important one. This is for your water pump. Turn that off. The reason you turn off your water pump is because if you inadvertently leave the
Pump
on and the kitchen tap goes
on
good chance you're going to lose all your water. When did that happen?
this morning.
So we are now standing next to a desalination plant, which I'm going to hand you over to my lovely assistant to tell you all about.
Well, welcome to the desalination refill station. I did this on purpose because how cool is this desalination pump here in Marion Bay on the York Peninsula? So, for those of you who don't know, playing at home, desalination, the process of turning ocean water into fresh, clean drinking water. What on earth? How does that even happen? I could tell you all about it, but I won't bore you with the details.
The basics are they've lost all their water. We've got to pay for water. Steph may have lost all their water, but she's made up for it with a little local knowledge she got off a mate for our next camp spot because it is just as good as last night's.
We're just going to poke our nose in now, pick the best spot, but I've been told it's absolutely stunning.
On this little peninsula that I've seen so far, they are all sensational. A little bit windy at the moment, but heck, we're on a boot sticking out in the ocean. It's going to get windy. Lead on, show me this magical campsite. Something I'm finding more and more, and the more we do off-grid, the more it's becoming apparent to me that people tend to follow the trends. If it's on Instagram, if it gets lots of reviews, it's where you'll find the people. I think we've got to be prepared to get away from those campsites as more and more and more and more people are on the road. These camps are just getting so crowded. The stuff you bump into or you've got to research yourself or your mates tell you about or the local down the pub gives you a heads up on, those are the spots we're not seeing as many people at. Not too far up the road is home for the night.
Well, this is a stunning campsite, but as you can see, it is slightly on, well, quite a lean. So, Gary's going to try to do some wizardry, reversing, caravanning, mad skills, he reckons, and get her leveled up.
Well, we were in a campsite just the other night. The kids had a bit of a whoopsie-do. Forgot to chock their van and the old girl just took off. Nearly ended up down the hill. So I'm going to chock my van up a bit this way Now, when I can't level my van, these guys call it sleeping like a psycho, because what I do is I put my head up the other end of the bed, my feet down where my head used to be. It is a bit of a weird thing to do, but it works for me. Tonight, I don't feel like doing that, so I'm gonna level my van up. Folks at home, I'd love to know, have you been to the Yorke Peninsula? What area of Australia would you consider to be not well known and just as specky? Leave a comment down below, and maybe one day we'll get there on off-grid. Holy! We're keeping it real simple tonight, folks. Who wouldn't with a view like that? We've got some snaggers, we've got some ribs on the barbie, and of course, a vino. Speaking of which, Off Track have got 4 different 12 mixed packs at the moment for a crazy price, because they actually let me, Steph, and Harley choose the price. $85 plus free shipping. I've made a mixed pack. Steph's made one, Harley's made one, or you can just get 2 of each of the 6 wines for your own mixed 12 pack. $85, free shipping. They are fantastic in the back of the 4-wheel drive because they can rattle around, nothing happens to them. Better than bottles. Now, I had better attend to this because I've got a lot on my plate right now. That is another day done and dusted, and sadly, it's our last night on the YP. What a place, and honestly, you could spend a month down here exploring this place. But tomorrow, we have a mission, and that is to catch Marron on Kangaroo Island. Never would have thought I'd be an induction cooker man, but when the wind is howling through here and you need your morning coffee, there's no disputing the fact that they just work damn well. Now, we've got a huge day today. The plan is pack up from here and regrettably leave this fantastic campsite all the way north, turn a hard right-hander back all the way south. Why? Because we've got a ferry to catch to get us across to KI, Kangaroo Island. Frothing on this. I've been waiting to go to KI for so long. Didn't even think it would happen this trip, but stars have all aligned. We're doing it. We're doing it. KI, big Marron. Marron like that. If you can't half tell, I am bloody excited for this leg of the adventure, and it is for a number of reasons. 1, I've wanted to go to KI for some time now. 2, we could catch Marron in the only place outside of southwest WA that you can. And 3, I've wanted to do this since I was a youngster. If we can pull this off, I'll be one happy man. We've managed to get a few 100 Ks under our belt and make our way to our van drop-off point whilst we go offshore. We are getting very close to the ferry terminal, and what I've done is I've actually contacted Brett and Anna from Off Track Wine, and we're going to leave the vans at their farm.
Mate, you just know people in high places. I love it.
We're a few tons lighter now.
Yeah, I don't love dropping it, but when I know where we're heading, that makes it worthwhile.
Yes! Bring on KI!
Kangaroo Island, here we come. More importantly, big old Marron. About 100 Ks south of our drop-off point, we meet the ferry that takes us to KI. Oh yeah, any red port left. There you go. The ferry to Kangaroo Island runs from Cape Jervis, just south of Adelaide, by about an hour. It takes around half an hour to get to the island, but it is well worth the journey. What's more, the legends on the ferry have let us come up into the cockpit of the ship and even gave us a little tour of the massive engine that runs this thing. We are currently in the belly of the beast. This is the ferry across to Kangaroo Island, and we are in the engine room. 2 38-litre Cummins diesel motors. They use 3,700 litres of diesel a day. And this place is incredible. After about an hour, we make land and begin our adventure of this little known island. Look, there's a kangaroo on Kangaroo Island, right there. Look at him.
Oh my God.
Now look, I know this is all about Marron Fest 2024, and it will be, but I got word of something I reckon you two are going to absolutely froth on. KI is a small, windswept island spanning just 145 kilometres in length that sits at the bottom of South Australia. It's known for its quiet yet spectacular coastlines, We're about to see what it's all about. Bit of a secret to this spot, Stephanie J. Holden.
Oh, please do tell.
It's a very popular little bay, this one. People get down here, they look out there and they're a bit underwhelmed. They don't really dig it, they don't really get it.
I think it's quite beautiful, but
The
go on.
trick is, you've got to look for that little sign, see there?
Ah, the
Which you-
secret sign that I'm sure no one knows exists here.
Well, if you were standing up there, mate, and you've got eyesight like me, you wouldn't see that little sign, would you?
No, only you know that this sign exists.
Exactly. So the
Not those
secret
eight
is,
people that just walk straight past.
Yeah.
gotta
Let's
go
just
up
see
the-
this said sign.
well, you wouldn't see that from all the way up there.
Yeah, no, that's hidden for sure.
Even from these eyes, follow
Hidden
me.
for sure. Oh, this is sick.
It's quite the crevice.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh, cool.
Stokes Bay here is one of the more popular spots on KI, and for good reason, as it has one of the more spectacular beaches I have ever seen. And if this is busy, then I can imagine the rest of the island is going to be pretty quiet. We can't be tourists for too long because we need to venture further west to hopefully catch some marron. I've actually lined up some local dams and lakes on private property from a mate of mine, Sean's farm out here. The beauty of this place is you can find it yourselves on Wikicamps, along with thousands of other epic spots just like this. Just search for Bush Marron Camp, Kangaroo Island of course, and it's located on the northwestern part of the island, not too far from the north coast. If this is something you'd like to do, get in touch with Sean because the Bush Marron Camp offers stays to visitors, and you can come and do exactly what we are about to do, and that is hopefully catch some bloody marron. With camp set up, I'm wasting no time in getting some nets and getting stuck into these dams. We've got a few nets in around the various dams, and just as we're about to sit down for a wine, well, Steph has made a critical error. We've got ourselves a very serious situation right here. Steph has gone and thrown a marron net into this particular waterway right here, but they are opera house traps, which means that anything that crawls in can't get back out again. If it crawls in and dies, it becomes the bait, and it's a constant stream of animals crawling in. You can't leave opera house traps in the water. Steph forgot to put her foot on the rope. Very serious situation.
I'm all for accountability and I'm against animal cruelty, so now I've got to put my big girl pants on and go in and get it.
The good news, it is freezing!
It's so cold!
You get tired.
This could end in
I'm wearing
absolute
white swimmers.
calamity. Yeah.
Just go in.
The one night that we don't have a caravan and a shower.
Oh, I'm going to be so muddy and dirty. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Ah! Yuck, 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 it feels so weird.
It's hard to tell here, but it's pretty darn cold on the island, and this dam, well, it's even colder.
We're gonna look like the worst people ever, just absolutely cackling ourselves laughing.
I think he deserves a round of applause. And that is the right thing to do. There you go, Tiger. That right there is the right thing to do when it all goes pear-shaped.
Look at that, what is that, yucky?
If only we had, I don't know, like a house on wheels with a shower in it. Turns out, this particular time and place, no such luck. Good on her, what a trooper, hey? What a trooper. You might say to yourselves at home as you're watching this, what happened to the two blokes that could have got him?
Yeah,
Cheers, brother.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
chivalry is dead.
All jokes aside, that was the right thing to do. And after a few more vinos, it's time to go check the pots and see if we've caught some marron.
I am the Marron Queen!
Yes, look at that. And sure enough, we have hit the jackpot.
Yes!
Oh my God!
Put him in the marron
Another
bag.
Marron.
Oh, big
For the
dog!
record, for the record.
Big dog!
Yeah.
Well, this is it. The culmination of a dream I've harboured for some time to get off WA soil, to get away from the motherland, to come to South Australia, a land full of foreigners, and catch what I consider to be a local to my home state. Look at that! A WA native marron caught in South Australia. I could not be more stoked. The truth of the matter is, Steph actually threw this in, but it doesn't matter. We're a team. There is no I in team. And I tell you, marron pasta tastes good no matter where you are. We've still got another, what have we got? I think Harley said he put 13 nets in, so we've still got another 10 or so to pull out yet. That is going in the esky, folks. We're going to cook this up. It has been such an epic trip. York Peninsula, all the way through. on the ferry, Kangaroo Island. We are not finished yet. We've still got several more days to explore Kangaroo Island. This is going to be a sandwich tomorrow, and you guys will have to wait to see how that works out on the next episode of Off Grid. I almost feel like, you know what? This is for you, Marron gods. He goes back in, because there'll be plenty more. Catch you next time on Off Grid. Next time on Off Grid, KI, it's all ours.
One of the coolest things I've ever experienced.
Have you ever eaten, Kat? Let's get on a ferry and get to the Coorong.
Steph's homeland, we're in SA. This is as good as it gets.
Hey, he's done it!
Let's go, baby!
The most iconic four-wheel drive beach run in Australia, road to Beachport. I wouldn't be going that close to the ocean. Oh, no, not there, not there, not there! Oh, this is no good. This is